Christine Pinawanich with your weekly recap. We'll be catching you up on some of the biggest stories of the week. That includes an update on the battleground teacher who's been on suspension over a student's claim that was reportedly later withdrawn. Plus, we hear from survivors of sexual abuse who say the failures of the Clark County Juvenile Justice Center go back decades. And later, how the new owner of Portland's iconic Big Pink building is going even bigger. But first, to our top story, a judge has ruled that a battleground teacher should be reinstated after a student claimed she called the late Charlie Kirk a Nazi. The teacher has been on paid administrative leave for close to 6 months now. Amanda Gonzalez says she never actually said that. The student who accused her later recanted their statement. That's according to the teachers union.
What did you say that day?
I told the student in the hallway thoughts and prayers for his family. That was it.
Did you say it in a sarcastic tone?
No, I was in hallway duty. I was waiting for a class to come in.
Gonzalez fought for reinstatement and got an appeals hearing. On January 23rd, a judge ruled the district should reinstate her. The judge noted she could not find statements made by witnesses that are entirely credible, nor could she find that Gonzalez's response to those statements was dishonest. Gonzalez says the only thing the district has offered her is a resignation package with temporary benefits.
Well, they're trying to buy me out in such a way that I would lose my medical benefits and my income for something that I didn't do. I didn't do anything wrong.
In a statement to KGW, the district said its investigation determined Gonzalez violated district policies, including staff expression and civility in the workplace. When asked why they still had not given her job back, a spokesperson said they were, quote, unable to provide further information. In Washington, 4 people were killed Tuesday morning before a deputy shot and killed the suspect. It all happened in a small town near Tacoma. We now know one of the people killed is the mother of the suspect. Zoya Shablinkina filed a domestic violence protection order against her son Alexander last year, saying that he had a mental health disorder. Tuesday morning, deputies were called to her home for a reported violation of that protection order. It turns out it had never been served, so a deputy was on the way to formally serve it. That's when witnesses began calling 911, reporting a man stabbing people outside the home. Here's what one neighbor had to say.
It was still extremely shocking because, it's a son and a mother.
In court documents, the mother previously said her son was engaging in what she described as, quote, witchcraft and occult rituals inside her home, and wrote he believed he was an Egyptian god. In Clackamas County, a murder trial started this week for a man accused of killing his wife in 2024 near their Welch's home. In opening statements on Tuesday, prosecutors said Michael Fournier's 12-year marriage was ending, and he was served divorce papers less than 2 days before his wife, Susan, went missing. We spoke to Susan's brother outside the courtroom, who says Fournier was going to be left with nothing after the divorce.
His name was never on the lease. She bought it for the life insurance money from her husband.
The defense spoke briefly, telling jurors they plan to present evidence proving Fournier's innocence. The trial is expected to last for at least 2 weeks. Authorities cited a Salem-Keizer school bus driver this week for making an unsafe turn that ultimately resulted in a crash that killed another driver. This was in West Salem on Highway 22 around 10 o'clock Monday morning. You can see the damage to the front of the bus there. State police say the bus driver tried to make a left turn onto southbound Highway 51 and caused a head-on collision with an SUV. The driver of the SUV died at the scene. Around 60 high school students were on the bus for a field trip. One student and the bus driver were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. In Clark County, a new lawsuit alleges decades of widespread sexual abuse in the county's Juvenile Justice Center. The abuse is alleged to have happened over almost 40 years. Alma McCarty heard from survivors and a warning, some of the details are disturbing.
They just didn't know who to tell. They were told by their abusers, nobody's going to believe you.
But now, years later, attorney Scott Edwards says 8 brave people are speaking up.
Despite the passage of time, over 40 years, We kept seeing similar complaints and similar descriptions of abusers.
Their individual stories adding up to an alleged institutional failure at the Clark County Juvenile Justice Center.
For whatever reason, many of these people, they did make poor decisions, and that's what resulted in them being in county custody in the first place. But if we're going to take these people out of their homes and out of their communities, we as a society owe it to them to protect them from this type of thing.
In a newly filed civil lawsuit, the victims who were detained as children here between 1978 and 2014 allege that detention staff members used their authority to groom, threaten, and sexually abuse them. The plaintiffs say in some cases they were sexually assaulted during strip searches or isolated in supply closets and cells and other blind spots. Staff members, they allege, would retaliate or threaten physical harm to silence victims or provide contraband to groom them. When they tried to speak up, the complaint alleges the victims were ignored or dismissed.
Just based on the similarities of abuse and the countless youth who have gone through the youth correction facility, I have to imagine that there's others out there who maybe they've held this their entire lives, haven't told anybody.
Edwards says the survivors now hope to be heard.
And if this lawsuit can be a vehicle by which we can both hold people accountable and prevent future harm to children in our communities, that's what we're trying to do.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
We reached out to Clark County for a statement. They said they do not comment on pending litigation. We followed up to ask about a person named in the lawsuit who appears to still work for juvenile detention. As of this recording on Friday, we have not yet heard back on that. A reminder, if you or someone you know is a survivor of sexual assault, help is available 24/7. Take a look at your screen. You can call the National Sexual Assault Hotline. They're at that number, 1-800-656-4673. Now to a heads up for drivers. Gas prices on the rise here on the West Coast because refineries in California have started to transition to summer blend fuel, which is more expensive to produce. They're the first state to start making the switch. In Oregon, the average price per gallon of regular is up to $3.92 as of Friday. That's the fourth highest in the nation. Washington is at $4.35 a gallon, which is the third worst. As usual, Hawaii and California are the top two. Meantime, the national average is $2.98 a gallon. In a message to teachers, Portland Public Schools is asking every department, in its words, to pause, review, and prioritize spending. Portland Public will now go over programs, job vacancies, and overall spending to see what can reasonably be cut, limited, or frozen. The district said this week it's looking at a $10 million shortfall for its current budget and a $50 million deficit for the upcoming year. According to Portland Public, the unexpected budget gap is due to, among other things, higher than expected safety and transportation costs, as well as unanticipated costs from federal lawsuits. The district plans to tighten spending on substitutes and overtime and also cancel a professional development day in March, along with other cuts.
As we see cut after cut after cut, it's hard to hang on to that because people are scared. People are nervous about their jobs, their livelihood.
The district already proposed cutting 300 full-time positions to make up for next year's shortfall. But now they say those cuts could happen sooner. Some Portland business owners told us this week worries over immigration enforcement continue to hurt their bottom line. Blair Best spoke to one shop owner now struggling to pay the bills as their regular customers disappear.
Fear is changing daily life for many Oregon communities.
Because they don't want to get caught by ICE.
And it's hurting Jose Esperanza's bottom line.
Yeah, because the customers, they don't want to go out and start shopping, especially in Hispanic markets.
Jose runs this Latin American grocery store off Southeast Powell Boulevard.
Items from South America, Argentina, Colombia, Peru.
Many of his shelves now bare.
For example, in December, we lost like 20% of the income of the sales.
That's about $10,000 to $15,000, he says.
We're struggling right now to keep the business open.
That struggle started about 4 months ago when he noticed his regular customers stopped coming. ICE has even been spotted in the neighborhood, he says.
They were like about 3 blocks away, like 2 months ago. This is affecting not just me, other communities.
We are linked.
At Latino Network,
I see every day.
this woman works with immigrant families impacted by ICE.
They are scared to go out because if they are taken, the kids are gonna be alone.
This month, she's working with about 50 families who had someone detained by federal agents.
It's still happening.
She visits those too afraid to leave their home.
I deliver food or I take gift cards for food so they can order online.
That support means fewer customers for business owners like Jose. He worries his store may only survive another 6 months.
I hope the things gets better in the city.
I hope these situations ends soon.
Blair Best, KGW News.
Well, new this week out of Salem, Oregon, lawmakers passed a bill they say will give more protections to immigrant students and help them feel safe at school. It adds immigration and citizenship status to the list of protected categories under Oregon's non-discrimination statutes. It also expands guidance for schools on how to respond to immigration enforcement activity on or near school campuses. The bill now heads to the governor's desk for her signature. Also this week, a judge reversed a Trump administration decision made last year to cancel a Biden-era deal that worked to restore salmon populations. The judge ordered more water be released through dams during salmon migration periods. Salmon advocates have been fighting for more protections for decades, saying the dams have resulted in population loss. But power experts say now is not the time to decrease energy output.
Ruling from the court buys the fish some time by imposing some measures on how the dams and reservoirs are operated.
We need more resources, not fewer resources, in terms of making electricity for consumers.
Governor Tina Kotek weighed in, writing in part, quote, "This decision lets us move forward focused on what really matters, restoring fish populations, meeting energy demand, and building a clean energy future for the Pacific Northwest." The order goes into effect March 1st and holds until a longer-term decision is made. Well, the man who bought Portland's iconic Big Pink building a few months back is now doubling down. Jeff Swickard scooped up another building not too far away. And as many offices downtown sit empty, KGW's Celine Stevens caught up with him to ask about his plans.
We view this as a long-term commitment to the city.
Jeff Swickard, president of Swickard Group, has purchased the Five Oak building in downtown Portland along Southwest 4th Avenue. It's nearly 300,000 square feet and meant to complement his recent acquisition of the Big Pink building.
We want to find a way to integrate Five Oak into the Big Pink's amenity structure. So our vision is to kind of reimagine these buildings into what we consider like experience-driven environments, people where we blend work, hospitality and community.
He says the building cost a bit over $10 million. The hope to help downtown Portland thrive once more, which has already seen a 5.5% rise in foot traffic in 2025 compared to 2024, and the busiest summer since the pandemic, according to Downtown Portland Clean and Safe. Prosper Portland says this is a win for the city.
We're looking forward to other interested parties across this country seeing the same value that Mr. Jeff Swickard has seen, because it sends a clear message to the country that there's value here, and we look forward to partnering with them.
However, some Portlanders aren't celebrating yet.
It kind of depends if it's gonna be more corporate office space, or if they're gonna bring some stuff back in for folks that are walking and visiting downtown. I'm an old-time Portlander, so I still miss the food cart block that got turned into the Ritz-Carlton.
We have to be able to do both. The food carts and the hot dog stands are typically patronized by those who occupy those big buildings. And so we have to fill those up while we're simultaneously supporting our small business ecosystem.
Five Oak currently houses the county's Department of Human Services, the U.S. Postal Service, and more. And Swickard confirmed the purchase should not impact those tenants.
We hope with our thoughtful investment, we hope we can accelerate that momentum, and we hope that we can be kind of a confidence builder for other investors.
In downtown Portland, Celine Stevens, KGW News.
Netflix is releasing a new documentary exploring one of the most controversial moments in Blazers franchise history. The episode is part of the Untold series. It focuses on the so-called jail Blazers in the early 2000s, when the team was involved in a number of scandals. From guns to drugs to domestic violence, several players had trouble with team rules and the law. The documentary, debuting in mid-April, claims to offer a, quote, unfiltered look at a team caught between brilliance and notoriety.
There's every reason to stay here.
A group of Portlanders rallied on Wednesday to save downtown's Keller Auditorium. The city is considering closing the Keller and focusing on building a new performing arts venue on the Portland State University campus. Supporters say they believe renovation is the wiser choice because amenities like parking, hotels, and restaurants already exist nearby. A city-commissioned study found Portland cannot support two venues of this size. The original plan to open a new one and then renovate Keller now appears somewhat unlikely. The owner of Murata, a Japanese restaurant right next to the Keller, tells us if the auditorium closes, her business would suffer.
On show days, it's really our moneymaker nights. We are just packed with reservations. We're fully reserved on show days.
Portland State says it would like to see both sites flourish, and Mayor Keith Wilson emphasized no final decisions have been made. We are less than 2 weeks out from the 2026 Winter Paralympics in Italy, and on Tuesday, the Paralympic flame was lit in the UK, the birthplace of the Paralympic movement. From there, the flame will go on an 11-day journey to Italy and eventually to Verona for the opening ceremony. 2 Oregonians are headed to Italy to represent Team USA. Skier Anna Soens from Bend qualified for 5 alpine events. She broke her back in a rock climbing accident. Then in 2018, she became the first paraplegic woman to successfully climb Mount Hood. Since then, she's been helping other people with physical disabilities.
Hoping to kind of push those boundaries a little bit, make people realize that they can do a lot more.
So inspiring. Soens trains with Oregon Adaptive Sports alongside skier Ravi Drugan. He also qualified for Team USA. Drugan became a double amputee after a train hit him in Eugene just before his 15th birthday. He was on the Paralympic roster in 2022 and has 1 World Cup podium. If you're looking to get out and about, we have some fun things to do. In addition to Lunar New Year at the Chinese Garden, Washington Square Mall is also hosting activities this Saturday from 11 o'clock until 4. You can enjoy crafts, watch cultural performances, including dance and martial arts, as well as hear storytelling from local schools and organizations. Go to shopwashingtonsquare.com for the full schedule. And the Cascade Festival of African Films is also happening. It's part of Portland Community College's Black History Month celebration. It is free, open to all, and runs through March 7th. You can view the film schedule at africanfilmfestival.org. Or you might want to visit the Fubon Shopping Center in Southeast Portland Saturday for the Asian Zine Fest. It celebrates the art of zines, the short magazine form still created on paper. The event runs from noon until 5 p.m. Or for something completely different and a whole lot louder, you could head to the Moda Center for Monster Jam. You can expect the roar of engines and the crush of cars as monster truck drivers show off their stunts. Shows run Friday through Sunday. Head to monsterjam.com for the schedule and the tickets. And for more weekend inspiration, you can check out the 8 Things to Do article. It's up each week at kgw.com. Well, that is a wrap on your weekly recap. Again, I'm Christine Pitawanich. And a reminder, you can catch up on the latest headlines anytime on kgw.com, your KGW app, or our YouTube channel.